Okay. Well, do all cats sound like meow, or am terrible at pretending that I am a cat?
Most cats do meow.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about cats, and we're going to talk about actually some serious scenarios with cats. And many people love their cats. I have a cat on our Save the Children tie because a lot of children love cats and parents and everybody else. And May is National Lyme Disease Awareness Month. Fleas, ticks, and worms. Oh my. Okay, I'll agree. Expert tips on feline, parasite prevention. We have an authority here, and I thank you very much for coming on because we love our pets. Dr. Amber Whittle is a medical affairs manager of feline parasites at Zoetis. Yeah, okay, and well, what should we look for? Cats don't go running around that by themselves, do they? They're mostly at home ish. Yes.
Well, in some cases, cats go indoor, are mostly indoors, but in most cases, they're usually going indoor and outdoor to some extent. And you bring up a really good point when we think about some of those risks that might be out there for cats, especially when we think about parasites. There are fleas and ticks, of course, that we think about, but there's also things like heartworm disease, which is transmitted by mosquitoes. There are intestinal worms, there are things like ear mites. So all of these parasites can cause some negative effects on their health, right? We want to make sure that we're protecting our cats against all of these parasites so they can stay happy and healthy and we can kind of maintain that wonderful bond that most pet owners have with their cat. Pet ownership and cat ownership is so rewarding. And so when I talk to people or cat owners about parasite protection in their cats, what I find is that most folks have some common misconceptions. And I want to just talk to those a little bit. The first is that people feel like indoor only cats don't need parasite protection. But we know that parasites, whether it be a flea or tick that hops a ride inside on your clothing or on another pet, those become a risk for our indoor cats. But also mosquitoes can come inside and mosquitoes can transmit heartworm disease. So really important, whether your cat stays indoors or goes outside, they need to be protected against parasites. Another misconception that people might have is that cats, when they receive over-the-counter parasite protection, that's adequate. And unfortunately, we really need to be looking toward a prescription protection option from our veterinarian, talk to them about what they recommend for that complete coverage and protection. And then the last misconception that a lot of folks believe, but is not necessarily true, is that parasites are only active in the warmer months. Parasites can be really active all year round, so always important, keep your kitty on protection all year round.
Oh my God. Okay. How, I'm going to just ask indoors. Just say indoors only. I wonder. And I don't have a cat. My wife loves cats. She's out of control. She actually is a cat sitter at times. So that she's a businesswoman, but she loves cats. And and I sometimes go with her. And sometimes the cats they snuggle up to me, and sometimes I just let the cat kind of do the cat's thing. Indoors, people that at home are concerned about things like dust mites and things like that. Do they affect the cat?
So some things like that could possibly be affect your cat, but really what we're more concerned with is those common parasites, fleas, ticks, heartworms, intestinal worms. All of those things are the ones we really want to be concerned about. And that is why it's so important to have this conversation with your veterinarian and see what they recommend in terms of parasite protection. It's why I recommend a medication like Revolution Plus, which we offer at Zoetis. This is what I use in my own cat. It really offers a lot of broad spectrum protection against most of the common parasites, heartworm disease, fleas, ticks, intestinal worms, all of those things we really don't want our kitties to be exposed to. It goes on the skin, so it makes it kind of easy. You don't have to be chasing your cat around trying to give them an oral medication. I don't know if you've ever tried to do that, but it sometimes can be a bit challenging to get cats to take oral medication. But as always, very important to have that conversation with your veterinarian around what they recommend.
So it goes on the skin by bathing, or how do you get how do you get full protection for an
Yeah,
animal?
so it's a little topical product. So it comes in a little basically a little vial, and a little applicator vial, and you just put it at the base of your kitty's neck. And
Oh,
that's how you would apply that. Yeah. It's not super
really?
complicated.
Oh,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound. Once again, I'm not a cat person, so I don't know these things. But by putting something on the back of a neck, is it a scent that then keeps ticks and the fleas away from the cat?
Oh, it's no, it's actually a medication that kind of works systemically. So it's a wonderful option. Again, make sure you're checking in with your veterinarian for the right choices for your kitty. But I think, Paul, we'll have to talk to you and your wife and get you convinced. I think you're ready for cat ownership.
It's all good. It's all good. So, well, that's great. Any other tips? You know, cats, I consider animals as people too. Well, we should love them and care for them just like our own children. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Cat ownership can be so rewarding. There's even been studies to show that it can reduce our stressors, improve our quality of life. So I love owning a cat. I find it just, again, so rewarding. One of the tips I would ask people to remember about having a cat is that cats are really good at hiding when they don't feel well. So important to watch out for even really minor changes in their attitude or behavior, or they're changing their litter box habits or maybe sleeping a little bit more. All of those things could indicate a health issue. So very important to give your veterinarian a call if you see any of those changes with your cat.
Last question. When did you fall in love with cats?
Oh, probably when I was a kid, just having your being able to have a kitten when you're a kid, I think was probably the point in my life where I just realized I was meant to be a cat person.
There we go. All right, Dr. Whittle, thank you so much for taking time to speak.
Thank you.
Important
Sorry.
information.
Yeah, thanks so much. And if you want to learn more information, head on over to revolutionplus.com. A lot of good information there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Paul.